Okay, this is hopefully the last part 3 of this palette knife painting. I spent a little time mixing up some grays, so let's throw them up here and see how they look. So when I was mixing up my grays, I thought it turned out a little too green. So the simple solution to that is to throw a little red in there. So think of the complement of the color. If you mix something up, it's too red, throw some green in there. If it's too blue, throw some orange in there. If it's too yellow, throw a little violet or purple in there. Okay, so that's a solution there. Now I'm going to be putting a finished version of this on my Instagram account. You can see it there. Patrick in the Studio is my Instagram account as well. You can see it now. I'll probably put if I like it, I'll put it up on Etsy, but I don't know if I'll like this or not. It's too early to tell. I might, but I'm my own worst critic, and that's probably true with most people, right? We're our own worst critic. So what are you going to do about that, right? Now as I'm mixing up my whites as I go along, my gray for the table, it's changing. It's not exactly the same. I see some people mixing up colors, my students, and they're mixing up a lot of it because they want something all the same color. And I find that really is kind of deadly dull. So mix up your grades as you go along, and you get some variations. It becomes a little more interesting, But you can see I'm just basically palette knifing this in at this point. The only thing I think about in finishing this is, do I want to define the background differently? Do I want to make the background darker? It's a simple, or I want to keep it the same. Remember, dark recedes. So what if we come in here and we put some darker colors up here? Darker grays. Again, I mix up my colors very roughly. So there's lots of smatterings of other colors in these. There's little greens and blues and oranges, And my paintings from years ago were very more like photorealistic. After a while I got really tired of that, and I became looser and more painterly over the years, which actually I enjoy a lot more. I get more out of it, find it more interesting. It becomes about the paint. It's not just about how accurate you can paint something, which, again, my feelings on that, it's really not about accuracy. It's really about believability. I mean, you want to make a painting that people want to look at. Isn't that the bottom line? When I paint these paintings, I do them for myself. I think if I'm going to live with this painting, I want to see that, I want to look at this painting every once in a while. I want to make it the painting that I want to see. You can't worry about what other people are interested. At least I don't think so, unless you're working for a client. When I'm doing a commission, then yes, you got to consider the client, obviously. But you know what? If you're painting because you enjoy painting, then the heck with, paint what you want to paint, do what you want to see, and paint it the way you want to see it. Because potentially you might live with these for the rest of your life. All right. So I think we're getting to the end of this, so I might touch things up. I like the idea of activating a color. What I mean by that is, like in the green, I might throw a little bit of orange or a little bit of yellow, and here in the orange, I might throw a little bit of blue. So in other words, I'm going to add the complement, but not in a way that's obvious or looks planned. I'm going to throw a little bit in there and then paint over it. So you'll see a little bit of blue in the orange, but very subtle, so you got to look for it, Alright, so there's my painting. I like the idea at this point of creating a background and foreground, maybe just right in through here like that. Alright, and right over here. Alright, it doesn't have to be obvious, it can be somewhat subtle. Again, you can see all the burnt sienna coming through places. Again, that just makes the painting more interesting. I might fill some of them in, we'll see. Alright, so let's see how that looks. I like it. I'm going to come in for a close-up. Alright, so there's my palette knife painting. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, if you want to see this finished version of that, then, Patrick in the Studio on Instagram. I'm doing a very good job of holding that. I need a steady cam, okay? Thanks again.